Explorers of all ages, you are about to witness the greatest comic book conservation live show in the Alpha Quadrant. Please join me in welcoming the conservators. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Hey.
I think we should be like this.
Good.
Oh.
Good.
I'm doing
Yeah,
great.
that looks better. Yeah.
I'm doing
Good.
great.
Everybody's
It's
happy.
Sunday. I had a long week.
Happy at home, enjoying the sunny. Yeah? What'd you do?
I got some sun. I did a long nature hike today with my camera.
Did you?
Nice.
You know, I got a lot of sun today. It was so warm. I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. I was walking the dog and I was like, I literally have to shed my shirt. I'm sweating here.
Yep. I went for a run
Oh,
yesterday. It was
wow.
almost 50 degrees. So for the first time in, since negative 20 degree weather.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
Well, it's currently.
weeks ago.
I hate both of you. It's yeah. It's currently 35 where I'm at. So yeah, I hate both of you.
Oh, we're back. We're back there now. It's back to 35 now.
Well, welcome everybody. Glad to see everyone here. Glad to see a few new names. We are going to have a great show for you tonight. Rather than our normal A block, B block layout, we're going to have one long extended A block with some extra fun involved in that. So looking forward to sharing that with you. Our thumbnail book, All American Comics, is a classic and a semi-key, and we'll talk about that, and super low CGC census, like 30. So not something that shows up every day. And we're going to be talking about not one, not two, but 3 sales of that book. So looking forward to that. Yeah. But before we get started, why don't we say hi to everyone? Phantom, how are you?
Oh boy. I'm really drowning in comics right now. I'm doing really
That's
well.
a good problem to have.
I'll show on the show and tell for the later segment. I'm really not one to be like, hey, like mail call or anything, but this wasn't a mail call. It was a project book that I have here, but I highly advise anyone tuning in now to see later, because I guarantee you it's a crazy book. But I'll leave that at that. I'll just say I'm coming to you live from the border of Brooklyn and Queens here in New York City, and this must mean it's Sunday night, and I'm here to talk comics with you fine gentlemen, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let's go. Captain, you're not at home.
Yes, sir. I am not at home. I am in the lovely country of South Korea in Incheon, and I am broadcasting from the 58th floor of the Oakwood Towers.
Nice.
And it's quite cold outside. It's nice. It's 10:30 in the morning here, and I'm enjoying my time. I got a nice long layover, and yeah, anybody wants to find me, you can contact me on Instagram at Flying L Comics. That's the best place to find me, and you can also find me on YouTube and check out my videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And back to you, Dr. Paul.
Well, I am, as always, your host, Dr. Paul, Liberty Hill Comics. Glad to see everybody here. I have been to Incheon. I thought it was delightful. The people were so welcoming, and I was there when it was warm, but I learned from MASH that it does get very cold there.
Well, it's an interesting construction because they basically poured dirt into the ocean and reclaimed the land. Incheon is all reclaimed land.
It's awesome.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's say thank you to our sponsors. This episode, if you are watching it live, you are watching it ad-free, thanks to the following gentlemen. You Pluck My Last Comic, Don Carter, Bingham of Lucan, Salesboy Comics, Collecting Chaos, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. Thank you all so much for sponsoring the show, making it ad-free for those that are viewing it live. We appreciate you. And if you're not checking out those channels, please go do so. Great content. Let's say hello to Aubrey. AJ's here. Jeff Goodsel's here. Salesboy's here. Professor Peter Alachi's here. My buddy David the Starman is here. Don Carter. Patrick Sargent, welcome to the show. Great to have you here. Professor says, what is this worm you speak of? Yeah, Texas, baby. Central Texas Hill Country. Mike is here. Ben Stewart's here. Sales Boy, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. Collecting Chaos is here. Says he was in Korea for a year, but never got to leave the DMZ. Wow. Billy Pilgrim is here. The Archivist of Drip is here. And welcome, everybody. Wow. That's like real man stuff, never leaving the DMZ.
Yep, it's nearby.
Over here. All right, let's jump into our A segment. Guys, you guys know, the early All-American comics, this was not actually technically DC, right? It was put out by MC Gaines. It was actually All-American Comics was the company and not National Periodicals, which was DC at the time. And it was co-marketed with DC, which is why you see the little DC bullet up there. But many of the characters that founded the JSA debuted here. This was a very important title, especially like pre-1941. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Hopefully you guys are ready.
Cool. All set, sir. Lay it on us.
All right. I'm gonna do a little background on All-American. So All-American #1, like I was saying, super early, 1939. Notice issue #1, no DC bullet on it yet. Issue #8, also no DC bullet on it just yet. They weren't co-marketing yet with National. First, Hop Harrigan. Hop Harrigan is a mainstay in All-American Comics for the entire golden age. I think, what they do, 102 or 104 issues of this, something along those lines. And Hop Harrigan's, I'm not sure all the way through the end, but for a very long, significant portion of that. Mutt and Jeff also are here for a long portion of it. First appearance of Red, White, and Blue, patriotic. This is, you know, I got corrected by somebody because I said pre-war, and someone pointed out that the war was already going on. So when I say pre-war, guys and gals, I mean pre-United States involvement in the war. And that's a little tedious to say every time.
It's the American perspective.
But I do respect that World War II may have already been going on. This is before America's involvement in World War II. But there were patriotic themes. There was some nationalism surging around the world. And Red, White, and Blue are service members that debut in issue #1. Issue #8 is first Ultraman. And if you look at the cover, Ultraman is meant to be a true contender for Superman, Captain Marvel, Ultraman, and Wonder Man, I should say. And he is the headliner of All-American Comics for a few issues, but then disappears. So his first appearance is in #8. It's considered a major DC Golden Age first appearance, even though, as I said, he fell from favor. The mainstay that made it is, of course, the Green Lantern, debuting in All-American #16. Guys, 34 Universal. Rarer than Action 1, rarer than Tech 27. Note now you do have a little tiny DC bullet here. By now we're co-marketing with National.
Can I just say one fun fact?
Please, guys, jump in.
So I worked at Comic Connect and Metropolis Comics just over 10 years ago now. When I first moved to New York, I was there for 2 years. And when I was there, I got to see some of these books that we show here and showcase, but you don't really get to see in person. You know, Superman 1s, All-American 16s, and stuff like that. And even working there and getting to see some of the books throughout my professional career now working on books, All-American 16 is still one of the only Golden Age keys that I've never touched a raw copy of. And I just say that just to my own scarcity. Like I've touched action once, raw action once. I've never like I've seen I think 2 maybe 3 copies of All American 16, but they were already slabbed and you weren't going to break them out, and it just wasn't. It is a rare book. You do not see it.
Yeah. We talked about before when I've talked about, you know, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 Golden Age keys, and 34 universal, 34 restored. And I don't know if you guys have seen The Accountant, but The Accountant's character has like some items that are like super high value that are sort of untraceable that he grabs when he has to ditch. And a copy of All American Comics 16 was one of the items in his safe that he uses to restart his life when he has to burn everything. Jason, yes, I love that cover. And it's a John Bloomer cover, or Blummer maybe, I don't know. But it does have like just that wild sort of Greek influence, very similar to, say, the art on Wonder Woman at the time. But yeah, excellent. Yeah, so 16, obviously the most valuable key in the run. As I said, over 100 issues. Super rare, rarer than Action 1, Tech 27. Issue number 19 is the first appearance of the Atom. Interestingly, this is also the first time any comic book character acknowledges that another comic book character exists in continuity. So the Atom is actually literally inspired by Green Lantern to put on a costume and fight crime. This doesn't happen anywhere in any comic prior to that moment.
Wow.
So kind of interesting. Obviously, Atom not on the cover. 19 was for a while the second most valuable of all the keys of all the issues of All American. But that is no longer the case. So if you look at older Overstreet guides, you'll see this as sort of the second ranking key, but we'll show you the one that overtook it in today's market. Number 20 is first Red Tornado. And I don't know if everybody knows the history of this. This is a comic relief character. So All American Comics was an anthology, just like Action, just like Detective. You had Hop Harrigan, you had Green Lantern, you had the Atom. Soon you'll have a few others you had Red, White, and Blue. Soon you'll have a few others added to that. Mutt and Jeff are there almost throughout. Ma Hunkel, the character that you see just to the right of the issue here, this is basically comic relief. This is a female, like a grandmotherly type figure who dresses up with literally a pail on her head and basically fights crime. Rights wrongs, I guess maybe I should say. For those of you that know the Red Tornado from Justice League in the late 60s, early 70s, and through the 80s, 90s, that robot or android, whatever it is, Ma Hunkel's personality was written into that. So Ma Hunkel basically lives in current DC continuity. She appears earlier. I think actually she's pre-Green Lantern. I want to say she appears in issue number 3 first. And but her first appearance as the Red Tornado is here in number 20. So comic relief character here again in this anthology. I wasn't sure how many people would be familiar with Ma Hunkels. I'm not sure if it was on your bingo.
I've never even heard of her.
Yeah. Issue number 25 is the first Dr. Midnight. Note again, no first appearance, no cover appearance for the first appearance of the Atom, Red Tornado, or Dr. Midnight. And note also 1941 All-American number 25 is first Dr. Midnight. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So you have 25, 26, 27, all key first appearances. 26 is first Sargon the Sorcerer, again, not on the cover. 27 is first Doiby Dickles. He is unfortunately on the cover. Doiby is again a comic relief sidekick. It's not good, people. I mean, in my opinion, it's not where I want to be. For me,
is that Robin?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a cab driver, and he has like you would sort of relate. He's got like a Brooklyn accent there, Phantom. And
Okay.
he literally walks around with this monkey wrench. You'd think he was a plumber, but he's actually a cab driver. He drives an old beat up jalopy named Gertrude, but that's how he pronounces it, Gertrude. And he hits bad guys with the monkey wrench and gets in trouble, and Green Lantern's got to save him. Just slapstick stuff. I mean, if that's your thing, awesome. It's not really my thing. And so for me, it's kind of like All American issue 16 through 26 is like what I'm interested in. That said, there is one more big key in the run, and that's All American 16. First appearance and first cover, Solomon Grundy. One of only 2 cover appearances of Solomon Grundy, one of only in the Golden Age, one of only 4 total appearances of Solomon Grundy in the Golden Age. By the way, there's a 9.8 of this book. There's never been a public sale of it.
Not crazy.
The 9.6 is from the Thomas collection. It sold for $138,000 back in 2021. This is the second most valuable book in the run,
Easily, yeah.
Overtaking number 19 with the first Atom. For perspective, there's a 9.6 and a 9.8 of this book. For All American 16, there are only 3 higher than a 6.5. It's
crazy.
It is just an insanely tough book. Insanely tough book. Thank you so much, John Carter, for the super chat. We appreciate you. Patrick Sargent says, I'm an indie comic artist since 1999. Welcome to the show. Let us know what you've done. Yeah.
Can I, just because it's actually within range right here. I mean, I don't even have to get up. Guess what I got here?
Oh, come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me give you
Hey everyone, so this is the book.
What you got there?
Holy,
a really sharp
Nice,
copy
Phil.
of this.
That's
incredible
great.
book.
moly, that is high grade.
Published in 1944. This is a wartime. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It was wartime for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to do that. I didn't articulate, but
Oh wow!
all right, I'm gonna put this back.
Can't wait to see what that comes back at.
Okay.
Jason pointed out he's called Doiby because that's how he pronounces derby, which is the type of hat he wears. Yeah, why not? Let's see. We gotta go. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Appreciate you. That is insane. I mean, yeah, that's like a 5-figure book, even in low grade, right?
Easy. That's a big book.
Yeah.
I had someone in my office the other day, and I'll just say that they saw the book I'll show later, and they were more impressed with the All American 61 because those that know, especially once you get above like a
black cover,
it's like a 4 or 5 or a 5 on this. It's really tough. This is a really tough book.
Yeah.
And I mean, from 44, and just look at this cover.
It's got to be it's definitely one of the best covers of the Golden Age. It's like top 10 for a lot of people, I think. Paul Ryman art, I believe.
It is a little obscure though too, because you do see more mainstream Batman, Superman stuff like that. Like All American doesn't get as much dues, but
yeah. But in today's market, with the hype on covers. And this one right here is, as I pointed out, one of the only first appearances other than Green Lantern who actually gets a cover appearance on their first appearance. So it makes sense that this would be the second most valuable book in the series, especially that Solomon Grundy continued into the Silver Age, continues to today, and only has 2 cover appearances. The other one being All-Star Comics number 33, which has 2 9.6s in the census, one of which I acquired late last year.
Oh,
yeah.
we'll show that off in the future.
Very nice.
So here's one of the interesting things about All American Comics number 24. It actually has a full page preview of Dr. Midnight. So you know how there was some hype about Wolverine being in an issue of Daredevil and Thor and Marvel Premiere prior to Hulk 181? And some people were calling it like a first appearance. But actually, those issues show up between Hulk 180 and 181. So, you know, this is a full month before Dr. Midnight, and it's more than just it's a half-page ad that explains, you know, that he's coming up in the next issue, etc. And likewise, Sargon the Sorcerer shows up in issue number 26, and this is the other half of the ad. This is the bottom of that page I just showed you. And it sort of gives a partial origin and hypes the upcoming book. I mean, is this the first appearance? I mean, it's obviously not the first appearance in continuity, but I consider...
they generally don't count those, yeah.
But I consider these definitely some kind of... This is a semi-key, number 24, because it does preview both of these characters in this full-page ad. And, you know, again, it's more than just like an image of the cover. It's like a mini origin and artwork. And so anyway, I consider All American number 24 a semi-key. And again, it's made all the better by the absence of Doiby. So I would love a copy of this book personally. Collecting Chaos, thank you so much. That's so generous. Collecting Chaos says... In my opinion, Solomon Grundy is the best adversary in the Golden Age after the Joker. You're not going to get any arguments from me.
Yeah,
Solomon Grundy remains
that's pretty good.
Basically a Green Lantern foe through the Golden Age. And I guess it's sort of stuck that way. When we were kids and we had Super Friends, I don't know that he actually like squared off with Green Lantern when they battled or whatever, but he has 4 appearances in the Golden Age. He's got the one in All-Star. He's got the one in All-Star. And in that chapter, you know, he is battled by the Green Lantern. He's got this cover in All-American where he battles the Green Lantern exclusively. And then he's got 2 appearances in Comic Cavalcade, which is the Flash, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern. Both of those, you know, he battles the Green Lantern. So he's kind of, I don't know how many rogues Green Lantern has in the Golden Age. For me, he's like the definitive Green Lantern rogue, certainly in the Golden Age. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with this book. Number 24, 22 Universal, 8 restored. Put a pin in that because I'm not sure that number is accurate. We'll get back to that in a minute. Median grade 5.5. You see that there is 198 of this book. But then there's a gap. So there's an 8. Rather, there are 2 8-0s, 2 7.5s, 3 7.0s, and then a gap all the way up to the singular 9.8, which has never changed hands as far as I can tell, at least in a public forum. As you can imagine, only 22 in the census, so not a lot of comps. The only reasonable comp I could find in Universal was this 7.0 copy that sold in January of 2024. So that's already 2 years old, the sale. But again, there's only 22 copies, just not that many changing hands. So, you know, we usually try to say, what is the comp in Universal? I'm estimating the Universal comp at 4,800. If you disagree with me, you can host your own show and make up your own numbers, but that's just my estimate for it. It's impossible to know because they just don't change hands often enough. This is a nice looking copy. It looks like it might benefit actually from some conservation with this big dust shadow on the right. Getting some feedback. Not sure where that's coming from.
Yeah, that's me. Hang on. I lost.
So
let me just.
I went looking. I went looking for another comp, And funny enough, I found this restored 8.5 that sold more recently. And I thought, wow, this actually is a nice bookend comp for our book. And this one happened to have sold as part of the Christine Farrell Complete DC collection. Those of you that have been on the channel for a while know that I grabbed a couple of books out of this collection. It was really insane to see it. I think they're still doling out a few of these books. The entire collection didn't get auctioned all at once. But this particular issue, some of the copies in her collection were restored. This one has restoration that includes a spine split sealed to cover and the cover reinforced. The grader's notes say light spine stress lines to cover, very light staple rust, crease left top of back cover, and white page quality.
Nice looking book.
Isn't it? Yeah, you're gonna be maybe surprised.
Oh man,
how low it sold for. So this went in the first bolus of Christine Farrell books. I won a few books from this very day, September 29th. And this particular one sold for $1,320 with the buyer's premium. And it's a beautiful book. Look, there aren't that many completionists for All-American, and it's restored. And
yeah, my brain goes straight to
It's a high grade restored though.
If I were to unrestore this, like worst case, based on the notes, the cover's detached and there's some splitting in the spine. I mean, really worst case, this could be a 1.8. But I would be a little generous and say, you know, let's say it's just the cover's detached universal. So a universal 3.5 or a 4 at 1320, basically. I think that, you know, maybe is about right.
Well, we'll come back to that conversation. But I think whoever bought this got a good value. So we have kind of two comps bookending our book. We've got an 8.5 restored at 1320, and we've got our.
You were looking for a copy. This is a really nice copy for that price.
Oh yeah, we've got our best guess at Universal at 4,800. So with that, let's take a deeper dive into our book. Conservation includes spine split sealed to cover, spine reinforced. Grader's notes include spine stress lines cover, indent right top of back cover, light tanning to the cover, small crease left top of back cover, and off-white to white pages.
Parallel universe copy.
Yeah, this one was graded in September of 2025, and it sold in the last month. I will show you some close-ups of it. It's really a very nice copy. You can see a little rip in the spine and the cover to the left top there, just to the left of the Green Lantern icon. Couple of tiny ticks along the top, a couple of ink smudges in the banner and above the banner. When you look at the bottom half, there's just on that reading edge, there are a couple of tiny chips out, a little bit of rounding on the bottom right corner. I mean,
that's a sharp copy. Dang.
Overall, a beautiful copy.
Yep.
A beautiful copy. So this is the time in the show when we play the game where people guess what this book sold for. So again, for reference, we're estimating an 8.0 Universal at 4,800. We know that the 8.5 restored sold for, what was it, 1,200? 1,320. So you've kind of got some numbers to use to anchor your guess here. Again, this book sold at a low starting auction, and it sold in the last month. Collecting Chaos is in at 2,500. The Professor's at 1,200. You Pluck My Last Comic is at 1,550. Ben Stewart says 55 honey. Commandant VHS, welcome to the show, says 1.7K. Vulu, good to see you. 3,200. Gorilla Monkey 3K says 2,750. Jeff Goodsell says 1,450. Jason, the archivist adrift, says 5,700. He's planting a flag, daring anybody to go higher. Sales Boy, what's up, Dylan? Sales Boy says 1,400, keeping it moist. My buddy David the Starman says 2,200. Don Carter's at 2,500. What do you guys think?
2,100.
21 Honey, says the captain.
I'm gonna go
From Incheon.
My first gut, I was gonna say 1,800, but I'm gonna stick at 2,400. Final answer.
24.
Ooh, okay. All right, game on.
Ben Stewart, not to be outdone, says 5,701. You guys ready?
You want to do the thing, and I'll do the next.
Oh yeah. Here.
I was close.
Yeah. Yep. Very
It
close.
feels a little low to me, if I'm being honest.
It feels low based on the books we look at, where we expect to see about 2/3 on average. But
Yeah. 43%.
Yeah.
Feels a little low.
Yeah, it does.
But I have a plot twist for y'all.
Oh.
I don't know if you're ready for it.
Should we be sitting down, or should other people watching that aren't sitting down be sitting down?
I don't know if Aubrey got 2,100 in before the bongos.
I think that was for comedic relief.
Well, I also think that it has a lot to do with our current market status. It's the comic market on a whole is starting to get unstable again.
I
So
knew
it's
it.
kind of hard to track.
knew
So
it.
it
I was
depends
like-
on the sales.
So so when we look
Actually,
at the
you know what?
graders' notes.
You know what, Captain? Let's talk about that for a minute. I recently visited. Oh, how do we go? I think like this. Yeah, there we go. I
There we
recently
go. Now I can
visited
see
with a bunch of dealers, and I asked them about the market. I asked Alex of Reese's Rare Comics. I asked Vinny of Metropolis Comics. I asked Richard of Bedrock Comics. I asked, who else did I ask? I asked a couple other people. I said, how's the market? To a person, they said, great. They said, Golden Age is on fire. They said,
It is. I
it
agree.
was a little bit mixed with silver bronze, but they said strong. Some were like, treading water, but fine. Some said very strong. And to a person, they all said record year last year and record start to this year. So
Well, yeah, we do
is the
have a
market-
$15 million sale. So
Fair enough. Yeah. We've got
races
some.
all.
By the way, there's a Tech 2770 coming up in the next Heritage.
Ooh.
Premiere auction. So I don't know, when books that I'm bidding on in the Golden Age, which are fair, to be fair, almost exclusively Golden Age, tend to be pretty strong.
Well, Dr. Paul, you follow the market, the stock market, and
I do.
when there's periods of instability, we look at commodities like silver and gold and things, and it's had a tremendous
And
spike,
and Bitcoin.
up and down over the and Bitcoin over the last month. So when you have an unstable market like that, people look to solid investments, and that's what we saw during COVID, and that's what we had when everything spiked up. And I think I see another wave coming, honestly, with our current market.
Yeah.
So especially with the recent sales and how things played out, I do see the market improving. I can't state for copper or anything like that, but definitely for Golden Age, I think you're looking at a big at a slow burn going up. So I think right now the market's great for investing in the golden ages.
Yeah, I mean, long-term viewers of the channel know that I just treat comic books as an asset class. I think it's reasonable to allocate a certain amount of your net worth in good blue chip comic books. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think those things are true.
Yeah, they're solid.
It's clearly an asset class. Just look no further than Ben Affleck in the Accountant. All right, you guys ready for this plot twist? Phil's figured it out.
Yeah,
I already know what it is, but I'll keep my mouth shut.
It's the exact same book.
lay it on.
It is.
Someone bought the Christine Farrell 8.5 restored, and they did some restoration removal.
Can I say a shameless plug?
They resubbed it, and it is now an 8.0 conserved. You can see these ink smudges on the. It's basically a fingerprint. Even that little notch on the upper. The top edge, and then a couple little notches on the right edge. And then here I mean, again, this is basically a fingerprint. There's 4 notches along the top, and then there's that rip on the left. One thing that's interesting to me is in Restored, it was a White Pages book, and it was a C1. In Conserved, it's an off-white to White Pages book. Also of note, if you compare the Graders' notes side by side, the Restored copy had staples replaced, and the Conserved copy doesn't. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't say that. It had rusty staples.
Yeah. But to be fair, the omission of that in the Graders' notes isn't necessarily a tell. That can just be not comprehensive Graders' notes. But you are right.
Just of interest, yeah. And I don't think it's like it's not like a smoking gun or anything.
My one shameless plug here I'll say is kudos to whoever saw the equity potential in this book. I think that this was a great at the very least.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Turning it to Conserved, maybe not necessarily getting that universal bump. Still, I mean, just look, it went for $1,320, and then it went for just over $2,000. And I mean, that's easy money. And it's just about the label. Nothing presumably really changed, except for the fact that maybe what was there was removed and it was redone with modern, traditional conservation methods, and the tear seals. And the reinforcement was done again. But one thing I will say is, if this person did submit the book to someone like me or someone else that can keep provenance, you would have also been able to keep the Christine Farrell DC Universe collection.
Thank you for bringing
on the
that
label
up.
as well, because that is something that few of us, including myself, have the privilege of getting to do.
Yep. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, thank you, was that it does lose that provenance. Also, I mentioned it briefly, but I said put a pin in it. I don't believe the purple label has been put back to CGC yet, so I believe this book is still in the census. So this book is actually in the census twice at the moment, as far as I can tell. So whoever the professor says, anyone know who conserved it? I certainly do not know. I think it'd be very interesting.
No, I don't either.
To know. I'd like to do hats off and kudos, and
it may not have necessarily been conserved too, because there is the
who never did the conservation for sure. Don't know if we will know. They made a little bit of money on this.
This could have just been a straight crack and resub too, even though it says C1. Right. That just could have been how they viewed the restoration the first time, but then the second time under today's.
Well, the fact that they submitted it and didn't turn in the purple label tells me they submitted it clean for a fresh view.
Your point.
The grader looked at it, not. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Captain. Phil, to your point, I think that's sometimes true, but this particular book was graded in 2024, just before the Christine Farrell collection went to auction. So I think some work had to be done. So you're sort of pointing
I see
out
what you're
that
saying.
like restoration standards in conservation didn't exist, like say 10 years ago. So there are some restored books in purple labels that you can just crack and resub, and they're just going to come back conserved because the work today would be considered conserved. I don't believe that's the case with this particular one because it was subbed fairly recently. So
it also would be someone that knew what they were doing would very easily be able to disassemble this, remove what's there, seal up everything, and put it back together with no problem. So
but
gotta say too, man, the back cover for this is like blinding yellow with that. I love the yellow front covers, but it's just as cool seeing it on the back cover too. That yellow is just so like.
So this book went through CGC's hands twice in 1 year, essentially.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah. So, what we've been saying is restored books are worth somewhere between 1/4 and half of Universal, and conserved books somewhere between 1/3 and 2/3 of Universal. And here we are. Right.
Yeah, I keep my fingers crossed that conserved will start gaining in value and people recognize the value of having conserved over universal even. Because the book's going to last forever if it was conserved properly. Versus the universal, it's going to continue to deteriorate inside that slab, and there's nothing you can do.
Well, in talking to Matt Nelson about the conserved label and conservation in general, I mean, he would definitely see this as a victory, that conserved is differentiated from restored and has a higher fair market value, right? Like that was really his goal in partitioning out conserved from restored. Those of you that have been here for a while know early conserved books actually were in a purple label with a line across the top that said conserved, right? It was kind of like a subgroup of restored. And they partitioned it out, tried to put less of a stigma on it, and only allow certain things in that category. And this is exactly why he thought these books shouldn't be punished, because if we don't, we don't want to discourage the market from conserving these books, because without conservation, eventually they'll all be gone, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope y'all
even these high value actions. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was great.
I had fun.
That was a great segment.
Yeah, it just kind of came together where I was looking at comps and I was like, oh, a little bit of detective work. This one here is the same book. So.
It wasn't until you said, when you were reading the notes on the second one, it said crease on the upper back. I was like, what are the chances they both have that? And then I was like, I didn't say the staple rust, but I was like,
a couple of you.
Great.
A couple of you keen-eyed viewers noticed it, so kudos. Kudos there. So I knew that was going to go long, so we only did just the A segment, so we thought we might do some show-offs. And I know, Captain, you're on the road, so you don't have any.
I am on the road. I have nothing to show.
I have a book. I'll start, and then maybe, Phil, if you have one other thing you want to show off, we can wow the viewers for a few more moments.
Phil's got some cool stuff.
He always does. So I have a addition to my All-Star Registry collection. So longtime viewers know that Captain Larry and I are both registry fiends, and am collecting All-Star comics. And my registry collection, until very recently, had 3 pedigrees represented. I have Mile High represented twice. I have Rockford represented twice. I have the Carson City copy of number 1, which used to be tied for top, but somebody cracked the Nick Cage copy and worked on it, and it got a bump from 9.0 to 9.2. So my Carson City, which you were with me when I picked that up. Do you remember how excited I was?
Yeah, I have the pictures.
Yeah. My Carson City 9.0, like I said, used to be tied for top hop. Now it is a 9.0, and there's a Nick Cage 9.2 copy. That said, I'm thrilled to have the Carson City. And the Nick Cage is for sale if anybody wants to spend $50K on it. So this past week, I saw a list on eBay from CapCon, Can Comics, which is, I think, short for Captain Canada, for this All-Star 21, which I did not yet have a copy of in my collection. And it's from the Ohio pedigree.
Very nice.
It's a 6.5.
Oh, very good.
Which I think it's fairly
Nice.
graded as a 6.5, but it presents quite well.
Sure does. Dang.
And what I love about it is, even though it's actually one of the lower graded copies in my registry collection, it represents another pedigree. So now I have 4 pedigrees represented in my All-Star collection. So I did an unboxing.
That's great.
And I'm going to write up a video. And those of you that are interested, check out my channel this week, because I'll drop an unboxing video. I'll show off all my pedigree copies in my All-Star collection while I'm at it.
That's a sweet. I love seeing the 1944
awesome.
there. You know, there's no like question. You know, for
Yeah,
someone
I like
super
that too.
familiar with, like, oh, how old is this book? It's like, wow,
There you
why
go.
are these characters? It's got- yeah,
Yeah, early kind of, it's not actually, it looks like it might be an infinity cover, but actually if you look at the numbers, they're counting backwards. So it's 44, 43, 42, etc. Not that you were saying it was an infinity cover. I'm just saying it looks like it might be an infinity cover, but it isn't. It's actually like a countdown cover. Yeah, so was super thrilled to add that to my collection. I don't even have 2/3 of the issues of All-Star. I mean, it's tough, especially hunting them in high grade. But I'm having fun, and I don't mind only adding a few copies a year to my collection. So I was thrilled to pick this one up. I thought the price is very fair. Again, in my video, I'll do a proper kind of shout out to CapCan, but thank them. They were super fast and professional. Even with Trump's tariffs, I got it here in relative short order. I had to pay an extra $43. Yeah, I had to pay an extra $43. Thanks.
I thought if they shipped it correctly from Canada, there shouldn't be any tariff on a graded comic book. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, the de minimis rule went away. And this wouldn't have fallen under it anyway, unless they lied. I mean, I think they can lie probably.
Yeah.
But if you're a legitimate business, that's not how
Yeah,
you do it.
no, I was reading something. You've got to word it in a certain way on your forms. It's not lying, but it shouldn't. In fact, I was talking with Richard from Bedrock Comics about this, and there shouldn't be any charges if it's done properly, shipped from Canada. No tariffs. So we'll see.
It was 100% a tariff. I got a separate notification from FedEx saying, this is just to be clear, Jeff, a separate notification.
Like, we want you to know.
FedEx. Yeah, like CapCon sent me an invoice. I paid that. And then FedEx said, here's the Trump tariff for you, $43. Pay it or don't get your book. So
would you have felt better if it was $44? Because
maybe maybe there is a different way to ship it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I am
Jeff
telling you, it
saying
100%
to the U.S. No taxes. Yeah, there's a certain form, and you word it correctly, and it's not lying. It's just you've got to do it right. I've been chasing. There's a Planet Comics actually, that I was looking at. The guy put shipping from Canada at $118, and I just like, no.
This shipping was, it's what is it? Okay, it's $1,000 book US. I think he was asking whatever that is Canadian, 12, 1300, something like that. That's 1,000 greenbacks. After taxes and the tariff, I was in it for 1250-ish, after shipping, taxes, and tariff. I think very reasonable for a 6.5 all-star from a pedigree,
The cost of the purchases don't.
Yeah. For me, I was just the all-in is this. I'm very comfortable with that. I think that's a fair value. 6.0 all-stars are gonna cost you $1,000, $1,200, depending on which issue they are. This one comes with the pedigree, so
it looks way nicer than a 6.5.
No, it's a good.
I was gonna ask what the notes were on that too, or if it was just something superficial. Like
you know what? I looked at it carefully. There's a little rip right here. You can see that, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a legit 6.5. I don't think there's any opportunity here. See, that's a rip.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other flaws. I mean, it presents very well, but it's
rip is in the most inconspicuous spot. I love it.
Yeah, but it is a 6.5. I don't think there's any opportunity here for like a crack and work it or anything.
Yeah. It's a nice looking book.
Right? Yeah. Like I said, I'm thrilled just to get another pedigree represented in the collection. We're I don't know. As you collect, you go from volume to quality, and you go up the sort of quality ladder, and you start looking for higher grades, you start looking for pedigrees, start looking for error comics and other neat stuff like that, top pops, that kind of thing. So like I said, even though it's one of the lower graded books in my collection, I'm thrilled with it. And I mean, if there was like a non-pedigree 8.0, I don't think I would swap it out. I think you'd have to get to a 9 or higher before I'd be tempted to swap it out for a non-pedigree book. I just
unfortunately, I like the look of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this one doesn't have the black this one does have the black and gold. Nice. One of my mile highs is actually with CGC right now, getting reholdered so that I do have the black and gold on it. And one of my Rockfords is as well. So soon I'll have them all back in wearing new black and gold tuxedos.
Yes.
Yay!
One thing about the registry, you do not get extra points for having pedigree books, which I think you should. I think it's ridiculous. We pay a premium to buy them. There's a points bump for signed books. I don't know why there wouldn't be a points bump for pedigree books. And hopefully at some point they'll evolve and they'll sort of get that right. But
maybe it's tough to discern because like not all pedigrees are created equal, even though they all have historical provenance. And so then it's like, well, we can't just attribute this amount of points if it's a pedigree, because then people will say, well, the Okajima is worth more than the, Joe Schmo, like, it's cool, but it's not as cool. So that's tough.
Well, and I think it could just be a very nominal points bump. Really, like signature books don't get a huge point bump. It's maybe 10% or something. That's not a big deal. I think it's kind of a token point bump. To me, I think, I wouldn't try to differentiate the Mile High from the Big Apple or whatever. Just like some kind of a token point bump, I do think would be reasonable, though. But that's just my opinion. So, Phil, did you want to show anything else off before we sign off? I heard that you might have some client books that might be of interest.
Show me.
To our viewership.
Well,
this looks official.
I had to go over to the safe to get this one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I wasn't joking, everyone. So
did you want the drum roll?
Yeah, you can put the drum roll.
I can do the drum roll.
What you got, Phil?
Astute people that know the back cover
label.
Can see this, and then
we already know the back cover.
This is the front cover, so it's kind of a cool book. It's an Action Comics. Wow. A 9.0 just sold for $15 million.
Yeah. Naturally.
So I'm very fortunate. I actually have a photo holding one of the 9.0 universal copies of this book from over 10 years ago when I was at Metropolis. And just getting to see that book in person was unreal. Getting to touch this one and get to work on this one is, have no words. Truly, like, this belongs in a museum.
Wow.
The public should get to come and view something like this. This is not something. I have awesome clients, but I think it's crazy that any one person can own one of these. There's only so many. This is, I mean, look at it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Beautiful.
It's an absolutely crazy comic book.
That's chills.
You're always learning. You're always improving your craft, and it was only a matter of time before someone entrusted you with it. So I'm happy to see.
I agree with Dr. Paul.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have both of you guys to thank, and this channel to thank. And I love comics, and I love talking comics. I love working on comics, and I really can't believe that I somehow, when I was a little kid, like, it is a little poetic. This is something else I'll show that I have up on my wall here.
But just think about it. You're going to crack that thing open, and you're going to have it raw in your hands working on.
There's tape from one of the interior pages
inside a slab. You've got.
I'm gonna take the staples out of that book. It's like I'm a cool cat when I do the work, but even a book like this is so. It's wow. So when I was 12 years old, and I have the date stamp so this was $148.75, right? And I got this in 2002. So I've had this book for 24 years.
From your PC, yeah.
And this is one of the last books I have from when I was a kid. And I spent $150 on this book basically just before the internet, when it was this was what was available in the display case in my comic book shop. And I got this cool old Superman book for $150. Now, it's not a remarkable cover, but it is a cool Golden Age book from 1947. It's got nice eye appeal.
It's got a barbell on it.
I've read it. Yeah, it's a cool.
It's got a Popeye style barbell from before we had flat weight plates.
As a little kid, the story, just an ordinary guy. What happens when the guy that's called Superman just loses his superpowers, and he's just so that's it seems kind of relatable and realistic to go from this 24 years ago, and I was a 12-year-old kid, and I pulled out a wad of cash from my pocket. When the guy at the comic store was like, I don't know, kid, this book's pretty expensive. And I was like, no, I think I got the money to pay for it. Going from that to having someone trust me to give me this book to do work on I have no words. I'm grateful for the community, and really without that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
It's a testament to your craft. I mean, you have shown diligence in taking care of these books. I mean, especially these special category books like this. I mean, people trust you. You're not going to screw it up.
No.
So, if you thought I was speaking in hyperbole at the show open when I said the greatest comic conservation live show in the Alpha Quadrant, I think we've proven it.
Take on anyone else that wants to do it.
I don't think you're seeing any other Action Ones and live streams. Certainly not in this sub.
That's probably true.
Speaking of appreciation, thank you so much, Gorilla Monkey 3K, for the super chat. We got some
thank you so much, everybody.
Great sponsors already lined up for next episode. Really super appreciate that. I had fun. Aubrey got goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
James said he's held
goosebumps.
He's held Action 1 a half dozen times, but not since '92.
I'm a little more involved in like my personal collecting in the original art world, and a lot of those guys are very much, some of them used to collect books and transitioned to the art and never looked back. Even some of those guys that have really no interest in the books, one of my close friends, when I sent him a picture of that, 3 times in the conversation it came back to that book, which he does not. And part of what he said was when he was a kid in Manhattan, going to like the Big Apple Con, you know, back in the early late 80s, early 90s, and shows and stuff. Even then, he said in the 80s, going to shows, dealers would have Superman ones, Batman ones. You really wouldn't see action ones even then. I mean, you would, but they were few and far between. It wasn't a commonality. It's not a it's not common at all.
No.
Yeah.
No. Is there an Action 1 also coming up in the next Heritage? I know there's a Tech 2770. I think there's a lower grade or
One
maybe
just sold.
stored Auction 1.
There was one at Landry Pop that was a 5.0, I believe, an A3 or A4 5.0 that went for 380,000.
Larry, the next big Heritage has a Planet 1.
I know. I've got. I've been tracking it. I think the last one sold for about 26,000.
Yeah, I watched that one because Planet 1 is an O'Brien book, so that'll be one we'll try to avoid one another, but at some point we're competing for.
I will not be bidding on this one. I will be watching it though.
Okay, all right.
So if you want to go for it,
we'll see how it goes. You never know. That's what I like about auctions. You just never know.
Yeah, I know. I've got a couple things I'm watching. There was nothing today, so I got one that's ending tomorrow that I'm keeping track of. But
I kept seeing
it's been pretty quiet.
I saw a few planets pop up on Instagram that I sent you the links to, Larry.
You did, and I got those. I appreciate that. There's a big slew of planets coming up. It's an extended auction. I think it's going to be at the end of February.
Yeah. I assume too
the 27th.
Like best bang for your buck is probably makes more sense to get a lot of these at auction than just dealers selling books, you know. But I guess it always depends on the prices.
Yeah, you got to factor in the fact that Heritage raised their 22% fee. Yeah. That's a big bite. So
yeah. Phil, can you share the plan for that book, or is it going to be a crack and evaluate?
Certainly.
Or
so AG, who's in the chat here, who owns the Flash Comics 1 that I showed on a previous show, I posted that, and that was a big I don't want to use the term watershed moment, but it really was a big. I had a lot of people reach out to me about that book.
Yeah,
because
that was big.
The covered clean notation going universal was big, and that was an education for me too, to know like, wow, the risk is a lot less now working on books just like this, because that's a potential. So I do know, talking with Matt Nelson, that the covered cleaning notation that's on this is gonna have to stay either restored or conserved. It's not one that would be acceptable within Universal under their standards.
Sure.
But even if I can convert this to conserved, huge win if it's possible. At the very least, there's grader's notes for tape on the third wrap for whatever reason, and the book, from what I can tell, was pressed either poorly or not at all, and has a little bit of a spine roll. So
okay.
I get to, I'll get to, at the very least, remove tape and reverse the spine roll and press an Action Comics 1 at the very least. At the most, I'll get to do a very severe version of what I did on the Flash one, removing the color touch from this book, and then would have to be leaf casting and doing a full conservation treatment, because it wouldn't be universal. So
we look forward to seeing
what
the results are.
Normally I'm not one to show books like that, but before I even do, I like having the book already come back and done.
Yeah.
And like, hey everyone, look, I worked on the Flash one.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't do that because of the misses that I don't like to show, because not to toot my own horn, but virtually all these big books I've worked on, I've had virtually like very desirable outcomes in all of them. So I'm very,
Oh yeah.
lucky on one hand that the book allowed me to do what it could do, because I only do what the book allows me to do.
Yeah. No, that's
So
intelligently picking projects too, though. That's part of your
that,
skill set.
yeah, that there is part. I mean, there are definitely some cases where I really, the owner of this Action One had a really beautiful Captain America comics one that we discussed before this, and as much as I wanted to crack this book out, I walked him through and basically said, look, it wouldn't make sense equity wise. You're going to spend all this extra money. Like, it wouldn't be right of me to say, let's go through with this. I think that it's money better spent elsewhere. This is a very nice copy. But if you're looking to improve it, maybe sell it and put it towards another copy if that's really what you want. But I wouldn't. So I will shoot myself in the foot to lose a job if it means
that's not
doing
at
what I
all.
think
That's
makes
that's being a
right
long-term
decision.
good steward, right? That's actually just maybe short-term not as good for your pocket, but long-term better for your business and better for the comics and better for your clientele. That's exciting. Well, Captain, I'm equally excited, frankly, about your Batman 5 that I saw on your channel.
Yeah, I got a
And
couple of.
I know you're not
big
done
ones.
with
They
it
got
yet,
Batman
but
5.
if anybody hasn't been watching that series on Flying L Comics, go check it out. And I just have to say, you have also become a master of your craft. I've really enjoyed seeing
Well, thank you, sir.
the evolution of the skill set, and
I will second
you're
that.
doing the work. I think like the old 10,000 hours to expertise. I know that you're not at 10,000 hours yet, but you have a lot of hours under your belts. And I think you're basically
Well, thank you.
either flying an aircraft or leaf casting. Although tape removal and removal of glue and other things occasionally cross your desk.
They do. I just picked up another one that's a tape book, and I'll be tackling that. I've got 3 big books that I'm trying to get out the door. I did get Superman number 8 out the door. CGC has it right now. Hopefully, I'll be sharing it with everybody soon. And I have Batman 5 and Marvel Mystery Comics number 18,
and they're
all of which are getting the treatment.
And they're turning things over pretty quickly right now.
Yeah.
They
are. Well, they go. These go into the high value tier, and they're only hanging on to them maybe a week at the most.
Yeah.
So I kind of expect to get the results for Superman 8 here this week. Hopefully, I can share it with you guys soon.
Yeah, I dropped some conserved books off. I dropped some reholders off. I actually dropped off several books, a few of which viewers of the channel will recognize when they come back. I dropped off an Albedo Anthropomorphics 2 that I bought raw.
Oh yeah, remember I saw that. That was great.
Okay, I bought this book raw.
Okay.
I paid like $8 money for it, and I thought I can press it, and maybe it's a 9, and if it's a 9, I'm doing pretty well. I started working on it, and I was like, maybe 9 is like the bottom. Maybe this is a 9.2. Maybe this is a 9.4. I don't know. And actually, I showed it to Matt Nelson, and he said it's a 9.5. And I said, what's a 9.5? He said, it is. There's a tiny bit of overlap between a 9.6 and a 9.4 where there's a judgment call. And he said, this is right there. He said, this could go either way, either 9.4 or 9.6. So I looked it up, and it's probably not really true, because sometimes there can be funky things that happen in Go Collect or GPA.
Outliers. Yeah.
But the 9.6 was like 38,000 on Go Collect. And I was like, well, Matt, fingers crossed that it's a 9.6.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Although it's not going to leave my PC, guys. I mean, that book is so hard to find. It's so hard, especially in high grade. And it's a great cover.
Well, with that black cover in there, it's just
tough.
It's just hard.
Yeah. So it did have it had a corner crunch that I was able to correct. but it still had a few little flaws. And so we'll see how that comes back, but I'm excited about that one as well. And I'll show off some of them on my channel for those of you that are interested.
Yeah, even at a 9.4, that sounds like a win. I mean,
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, no,
you're guaranteed it. Just are you going to get this big pile or this big pile? So,
I mean, unless Matt was way off and his graders
all.
tell him he's wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, I was.
Well,
just,
Matt was he was pre-evaluating, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's going to go to other people for grading.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And they won't know who owns it. I mean, that's the correct way to do things, right? So we'll
That is,
see. But I am excited. So I have some books there. Captain has some books there. Phil always has some books there, but they're turning them around pretty quick now.
For the most part,
Yeah.
They are. I'm looking forward to getting books back. I'm looking forward to getting these other books to them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That
books
Batman
going up.
5 is sweet, and you did. I mean, just the color touch removal on that. I was impressed with your follow up because it was at that point where I was like, "Ooh, Larry, like I've been there. That's not
Phil-
right."
I wasn't that worried actually. I had faith.
Because
I've done that before.
Phil, well, I have to give Phil some credit on it. He gave me some tips on how to do it, and I really appreciate it because I did have an oh crap moment with it, and it recovered, and it Phil, I credit Phil for that.
But Larry, that's the same technique I used on my America's Best Comics for the glue removal.
Yeah, but it was but getting that ink to flow out of the cover in one direction instead of spreading through the cover, that was a real challenge. I had to put it on the blotters, and I had to do a high suction on it just to get it to flow away from the cover.
Yep,
absolutely.
So yeah, everybody, I'll be sharing with a lot more videos with everybody so they can see everything. But it's in process right now. I am taking my time on it. I'm not trying to rush this one. So it may be a while, but it'll look nice when it's done.
People are still waiting for follow-up on my King Comics #1, so they'll survive.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I think that's a wrap. We appreciate everybody joining us.
I think so too.
I would like again to thank this show's sponsors. You Plucked My Last Comic, Don Carter, Bingham of Lucan, Salesboy Comics, Collecting Chaos, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. Also, next week, we have generous sponsors, Salesboy Comics, Don Carter, Collecting Chaos, and Gorilla Monkey 3K. Once again, appreciate those of you supporting the channel, keeping it ad-free for the live viewers. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. Love to have you along. Really appreciate my co-hosts. Looking forward to a great week. For those of you interested, I plan to drop a video with an unboxing of this and showing off my other pedigree books. So stick around for that. And until next time, take care of one another.
See you later, everybody.